1, 2, 3. Boys love.
안녕하세요. 저는. That's it. And that is the true extent of my Korean knowledge right there.
That's not true. You just don't practice.
Boys love Junpyo. Boys love characters that aren't named Jaewon, Eunji, or Taeyoung at the moment.
At the moment, but boys think Eunji.
We'll get to it.
Kind of slays. Where did
For
we
a
last
peek
leave
behind the curtain.
Oh, we're telling the truth.
This is our second time recording this episode. Because why, RJ?
Because we recorded it originally yesterday after recording Queendom Puzzle, driving for 5 hours, and then coming back home and being like, okay, let's fire up the cameras. Missing an important step before the recording, which was to make sure there was enough room in our cameras for storage. Mm-hmm. So I had a gorgeous one-sided video, but Adam only had like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, well, I guess we'll do this again tomorrow. And here we are today.
You took it really well, though, because usually you
Oh, no,
freak
I
out.
was pissed.
Were you?
At myself.
Were you?
Yeah, I chose to say silent.
That's incredible.
Is that all I need to do?
Yes.
I'm allowed to still be angry at myself, but I just don't need to go.
Like a thwomp from Mario. He just like stomps around. This episode starts with Hedwig.
Very interesting. Okay, Terry. Very interesting that we're using Hedwig. It gave me like the energy of like someone who's really, really into what should be just like a normal, regular core class that no one's taking seriously.
Sure.
But
Gen
this,
Ed.
yes. Yeah. But this character was like, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to show my passion and what you should be passionate about.
Are we supposed to know who this character is?
It felt like a cameo, didn't it? Like it felt like it was a clear cameo of someone, like an actor. It
but
just felt
they've never focused on anyone else in that class so
Yeah.
far. I think in the great matrix that I'm building, in the X and Y axis of where we shall end up plotting. Yeah, stray.
In the great boys love matrix.
Right. I think one of the axes, and there could technically be three. We could plot this on a 3D graph.
Girl, zeros can't even count an hour and a half. Okay, so keep it real simple for our lovelies, our blovers.
I think one of the things I find interesting is shows that feel more like they are made palatable for a straight, typically like female audience, versus like this is made for the gays. I think Hedwig is the like, this is for y'all.
Yeah, Hedwig is the nod to be like, make no mistake, for the gays, by the gays.
Yeah.
Almost.
Because you wouldn't, that's such a random reference.
Especially like in Korea. Mm-hmm. Especially not in like a Western audience.
I mean, like. Even in a Western audience, like,
that's true.
How many people know
Hedwig?
Unless you are like super into musical theater, which well, that Venn diagram is pretty fucking big with gay people in musical theater. It's pretty much a flat circle. Or like, I don't know, you're really into the
like indies
or
but
like
the thing is,
the
Hedwig,
filmography of Neil Patrick, or the like storied history of Neil Patrick Harris on Broadway.
But that's the thing. Hedwig started as a one person, or like a
the
solo
film.
musical.
Oh, a musical first, yeah,
and
then
they
made
adapted
a film.
to a film.
Yeah.
So it's like it's already layered that way. So by someone like in the story, someone who was doing a report on Hedwig already knows that.
Yeah.
For the audience, seeing that, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
I don't know what my other axis is, though.
So you think for the gays, for the non-gays,
yeah,
for the queers, for the non-queers, and then
Yeah.
the up-down, you don't know yet. I know you brought up like character-driven, plot-driven. So like driven by the chemistry versus driven by intricate plot.
Yeah, things that happen. Because I think this would be. Well, it's interesting because I would have said in the first half of the season it was character driven, but I think it's pretty even.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it still leans towards character.
Oh, for sure. it's not like, I'm trying to think of one that feels
Just plot.
like just character.
Oh, just character.
Where like I feel like Bedfriend was like just character. Like it almost felt like Bedfriend was like episodic. Like each episode like kind
now
of
here's
wrapped
another
up.
situation with
Right.
these two.
And honestly, if I'm gonna talk about Bedfriend, which I don't know why I have such trauma from Bedfriend, but I bring it up all the time.
You do.
Bedfriend, I think like
And they're coming back.
didn't wrap up its main conflict, which was like the mom.
Yeah, they were just like, we're just gonna...
He was finally just like, I give up, which that is a resolution to some degree. And
Yeah.
I think what a lot of queer people have a hard time hearing is like,
You can just leave.
you can choose to not engage. Just because they're your family does not mean they're your family.
Yeah.
Well, I just said everyone's
saying he's changed.
he's changed.
Even the professor.
Even the professor.
Even Hedwig.
Even Hedwig. Everyone is like, you are a different person. You're not this quiet country mouse that I used to know.
So weird. I feel like, yeah, I mean, it is someone who's like didn't make a sound.
Yes.
Like just really wanted to like fit in and blend in and not
show
that he is from somewhere else.
He never would have raised his voice. I'll come back to that later.
Come back to that. Yeah. Now that we've done it for another episode, it's really cementing that like.
This is one of the few times where I think like I'm such an advocate for when I watch something. I love when a screenwriter feels more comfortable showing than telling, or the director of the piece or whatever, because it's more impactful. However, I would almost say this is the reverse, where like in order to make sure that you get the point, like we've already seen that Jihyun is changing, but I like that all the characters also saying like, you've really changed. Like it shows how much bigger it is than we can even realize.
Yes, exactly.
Because like these characters are with him every day. We're just getting these snapshots of his life.
Or not just like the lines that we're seeing to further the plot. It's like if this was a real world scenario, he is like in that world, a different aura.
Right, but also like this is the reason I wrote it down is because Hedwig is like, you've changed. Girl, we are in one class together and have never spoken. That's like, That's how you know someone is like a different. Do you know those stories of those people who like go in a coma and then they come out of a coma and they know like a new language?
Or like,
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
What's her name?
Or yes, Mary Steenburgen. Mary Steenburgen?
Yes.
Where she woke up and she's like fully like, I have synesthesia. I can write music now.
She can write music.
And so she like
guys,
wrote
Wikipedia, Mary Steenburgen,
had a
medical procedure where she came out and she can like hear and write music, which she could previously never do.
So she wrote like hundreds of songs.
Yes. Well, that's like his presentation in this fucking movie class. First of all, they get up and they've spent weeks on these presentations.
On 2 slides.
And then they stand up and he says 3 sentences and sits back down. And I was like, how have we as a class spent this much time on these presentations?
Yeah.
Unless it's like at the end of every class, there's 2 people who present. So that way you can stretch it out over the whole course of the semester. But then like, what are you learning? What's different from the last presentation? You know what I'm saying?
I wonder if they like watch a movie. I can't believe we're getting in on the syllabus of this class.
Curriculi. Yes. We didn't talk about this when we recorded yesterday.
We did not. This was not part of it. We were definitely way too tired yesterday. We didn't.
But like,
so the metaphors.
Yeah.
In the movie that he picked, I'm like a cyborg or something.
Yeah.
I'm a cyborg. Now what? Or whatever.
Yeah. Mommy is a cyborg. My favorite Baskin Robbins flavor.
My favorite Baskin Robbins flavor. So it's about this movie of this cyborg who like doesn't have a purpose and like goes out to try and find it. Which very interesting. Metaphors.
I want to heal his wounds. Just a random line I just said out of nowhere. Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a character that also finds their purpose this episode.
They're at lunch, Eri and Junpyo and no,
Bina.
not Junpyo. Bina. And Eri and Jihyun, and he sees across the room Jaewon.
Literally, he like looks over and Jaewon is like. Which here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Messy boots.
Here's the thing. If you don't want him to see you or notice you or make any contact with you, why are you sitting where you know he eats lunch, sitting at a seat where you could see him? He's still watching him and like wants to be aware of his presence, even though he's fully like forget each other or whatever. So that really made me mad here, that we all of a sudden see him, and Jian is fully like,
country mouse.
Hey,
Very.
you Sims.
Sims.
Adam was like, he looks like a Sim. Subu waba, susu. You're not doing a good job of making me like ignore you.
Right. And also, like,
you're still kind
why
of following
are you
me around
ignoring?
like a
There's
ghost.
no reason.
Yeah. He's dressed in a black suit, and I was like, oh, it looks like he's going to a funeral.
His academic career's funeral. Yeah. They have the disciplinary hearing, and Taeyang gets there first, and because Yoonwon and Eunji are going to be like Jaewon's witnesses, basically, they try to stop him and be like, just forgive him, like it's not it's not a big deal, you guys are best friends, blah blah blah. And this is where he fully is like, no, I have to stick it to him, this is my chance, I'm an asshole.
Girl, for what? To try and get something from him, and this is his opportunity to like get one up him and be like, look, he's not all that just because he's rich.
Yeah,
he's a chaebol.
So they go in and
they make their statements.
Taeyang is like, throw the book at him, and Jaewon is like, throw the book at me. Not helpful. Not really a great defense, to be honest. But he did. I mean, I will say it's better than him going in and be like, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because he's like owning the fact that he did do this.
And honestly, it's like he's given up. So he's like, I would much rather just be told that I am suspended, that I am the failure that everyone now and myself believed me to be. So let me just face that and then, be a waste.
Yep. Jihyun shows up in the hallway outside of the hearing, and Yoonwon is like, why are you here? And he's like, I wrote a speech I want to give on, like, because Yoonwon is supposed to be his character witness from the club. And so he's like, I want to speak on behalf of him for you, so you don't have to. I've already written something down, da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, okay, I'm too nervous anyway. It's fine. You can go.
Like heebie-jeebies. Like he's
yeah. They call in Yoonwon, and then Jihyun shows up, and no one... I thought someone would say something, but no one does. Anyway, so he walks in, and he gives this really, I wouldn't say like a moving speech, because I like in the naturalism of the show, it didn't feel like it was like this grand stirring moment.
To me, it felt really honest, that I think no one has been this honest in the show. Like vocalizing their true honest feelings. And when Jian was like making the case to Yoonwon that he should be the one to say it, he says like, everyone knows me as the guy who almost died. And so he knows that he has that clout in the university to be able to use that and like provide that he is a strong character witness.
Yeah. He also says like at the beginning, he's like, because of Jaewon, I'm a fear not. Sorry. That was so stupid. Because of him, I have no fear anymore. Which I think is like a lovely sentiment.
At the end of the testimony, Jihyun says that like, because of my accident, he like brings up his accident, right?
Yeah.
Because he knows that it's a status that he has over people.
I would bring it up.
I would bring it up too. But I did not expect him to bring it up in a way to explain what Taeyang did. Like, I didn't expect him to be like, he mocked that accident, and that's why Jaewon. And I'm not excusing Jaewon's behavior, but I believe that's what happened that led to this event, led to this situation. I went through an accident.
What the purpose of Eunji speaking as behalf of as a
witness? Yeah, which is so stupid. So I don't know what she said.
Okay, but like think about it. There's no way she got up there and was like, Taeyang was speaking badly of the accident that happened, and that's what set him off. First of all, she doesn't like Ji-hyun, so she doesn't care about if anyone makes fun of the accident, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I feel like Jaewon would be pissed unless he's, again, full catatonic, like I'm disassociating with what's happening in the room right now. What did Eunji say at this hearing? That's what I want to know. Anyway.
Release the tapes.
I love this sequence, though, because the way they frame the shot is like you can see blurred in the background Jaewon sitting behind, like listening to.
And I love that they're consistent with that.
Yes.
You know. So what happens, girl? You are Ronan Farrow outside the trial. You know, and people need to know what happened.
Taeyoung storms out, kicks the door. Very brat energy. Very big brat energy.
Very me spilling water in the kitchen.
Very RJ spilling water in the kitchen energy. And he's like, I'm sure his dad bailed him out again. I just know it.
Girl, you just heard why he won.
But this is a person who truly is like, there is no way Taeyoung ever in his life has owned any responsibility for his own actions.
I can't have consequences because everyone else just has more than I do. Like it stems from the envy.
Right.
That it's
or the
he has more status than I do.
The whataboutism of
Yeah.
Jaewon comes out. They're like celebrating. Yoonwon is like, we should go out for drinks. They look around to see if Ji-hyun wants to come, but he's not there. He's left. He stormed out. This is funny because I think he was in the background of one of the shots and then heard the reaction, so knew that Jaewon won. So then just like immediately was like, bye. So I do think there is a bit of him that is not ready to face Jaewon in real person yet.
At this moment in time.
Mm-hmm. And he goes out to the quad, which is on campus, and there's like the stone bleacher area where he's sitting, and he's looking through his texts with Jaewon, and he sends him a text. I don't remember what he says, though.
I think it was like, get rest after
what happened.
After what happened, yeah.
And Junpyo comes up behind him and takes his phone and is like, aha, so you are texting someone I know you have a little crush. Who is it?
Yeah, he's fully like, yeah, I got your phone. I'm going to see who you've been texting because I know that you have a crush on someone. I finally got...
Stupid. Wow, acting.
Like, this is the second time he said it.
Yes.
It's that thing of like, well, you wanted to find out. So there you go.
And a lesser show would have made this basically the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Is Junpyo having a negative reaction. And I guess we do live in a world where people do have negative reactions to things like this. So I shouldn't say that it's not an impossibility. The show is in a world, to some degree, in which gay love is like not normal, right? Because the way they talk about like there's rumors being spread of like why are they
did
together?
They go on a trip together? Yeah.
So there's definitely like that aspect to the show. Because there are some BLs, I think like Choco Milkshake is an example of things where it's like, I think this is in a world where
people just are fine.
Everyone is just fine with anything.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's fine.
I do wonder if it's more because they know it's Jaewon and they know Jaewon has dated Eunji before. They know that he, is popular with the girls. So it's like...
Sure.
It's more established, and that's why it makes no sense. But yeah, I mean, this could have gone a way where what Ji-hyun expected of like, are you mad that because, you think that's disgusting or whatever?
Yeah.
And Junpyo does a fake out and says like, I'm so mad.
Yeah. ...
that you never told me. We've been friends for like 13 years. And then like, is immediately like, you know what, that's fine, I don't care because I'm just so excited that you're dating someone. Because this is like, I mean, like, imagine your best friend who like who's been so shy his entire life, all of a sudden just like being so happy in college and like meeting someone that makes him happy. Like, I would be so ecstatic and just would want to know everything.
Right.
For someone like Junpyo, who could have easily been written off as like, you're just a little country bumpkin, he is wearing
a plaid shirt and denim overalls. He couldn't look more country bumpkin if he tried right now in this look.
But because his character is so nuanced of like, even from the very beginning. Like, he's just like, yeah, you just simple-minded in a way that, like, he doesn't carry a lot of things, that he doesn't get overburdened by things that don't really matter.
That's a great way to put it. Yes.
So to him, he is just simply looking at the fact that, like, this makes you happy. I've never seen you so happy before.
And the only thing that makes him mad in this whole sequence is the fact that 80 knew before him.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that, like, bugs him.
I do love that Ji-hyun at least still kind of defended their friendship and being like, well, she is from the city, and I think
she's a soul girly.
She smelled it out of me, basically. Like, I didn't tell her. She just knew what was going on. Which I really liked that.
I like that this is a character that has people on his side.
Yes.
Sometimes it's very hard to watch queer characters go through, like, the loss of everyone in their life.
Because we're inherently...
In, like, a Love Simon way.
Yes.
Where, like, everyone turns their back on him.
Because we are... Yes! Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. That was the whole thing about Love Simon.
Yes. Except for his mom.
Except for his mom, but all of his friends were like, you lied to me. Why didn't you tell me that this was something... Like, girl...
This is the thing.
That made me mad.
This is the thing, is that, like, people don't... The thing that I think queer people understand that maybe straight people have never had to, like, sit and think about is the worst case scenario when you come out is, like, they reject you completely.
Yeah.
Like, it's a full, like, you're going to hell, blah, blah, blah. So that's problem number one. But problem number two, which no one thinks about, it's not just either yes or no. There are the reactions people have where they feel betrayed, intuit you not telling them this information that you yourself may not have known for however long as a betrayal and, like, a lie.
Yeah.
Which is, like, not how that works, right? But, like, if the things that people regard entire communities in regards to, like, it's really hard, it's very hard to hide race.
Yeah.
Except for, like, specific circumstances, right? Like nationality, ethnicity, stuff like that. Like, it's harder to hide that and keep that to yourself unless you're able to pass in some regard, blah, blah, blah. But, like, sexuality is the one where it's, like, fully internal.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you
externalize. It does not have to come up at all. And you could live your whole life not knowing that you, like, were gay or whatever.
Right. And because of that, because society and like the human condition is just to like figure out as much information as possible from, like, a quick glimpse at a thing, because we're hardwired to be like friend or foe, like am I prey or am I predator in this moment. And when people have, like, just assumed, like, the default is heterosexuality, so you just assume everyone you see is heterosexual, so then you have been like, well, they've confirmed that they're heterosexual just because they're out in the world. That shouldn't be the first thing I have to tell you about myself. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, I talk the way I do, so I really don't have to do any explaining. Yes. But that shouldn't have to be what it is. Yeah. But people, because they make up their mind, they've categorized you in a box in their brain, and then you say, oh, I'm actually not the thing you thought I was.
Yeah, it's like, how does me coming out and telling you who I really am, how is it my fault? Because you were the one who have already described me and categorized me in a way that I never knew.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why they get upset. That, like, hurts, because it's like, there are instances in which people lie. I was allegedly straight. I dated a girl at one point. But also sexuality is gender also. Everything's a spectrum. It's fluid. Anyway, this was Gay Corner with Adam. So
Queer Studies with Professor Adam
101. Ji-hyun and Junpyo go out to drink some ahs. And I really like this sequence because, first of all, Junpyo is like, so tell me about him. Like, what's he like? What's he do? Which you've met him.
Yeah, I
know. But also, like, he's so excited for him, which is very apparent. And got to ask, like, yeah, I mean, now it makes sense why he was so worried. Like, he looked like he made a joke that's like, he looked more worried than the people next to you who that person died, and the family wasn't as in pain as he was. Right. And even Jian was like, okay, don't make fun of that. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, like, that he was going through it a lot hard, like, worse than other people. Yeah. And Ji-hyun says these two lines I wrote down. I want to heal his wounds, and I will have him back.
Will.
Get your man. I don't want to sit here and talk about like wanting to heal people.
I know,
like,
we shouldn't do. Yes.
Blah 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 blah. But I also
it's a show.
It's
okay.
It's not necessarily aspirational.
Yeah.
But I do also think that like if you are clear-eyed, maybe
Clear eyes.
Jesus, about what your intent is, and maybe you can, because like in this circumstance, like Ji-hyun is like a light to like push out the darkness that is like buried within Jaewon. But also I think Jaewon knows, Ji-hyun knows where Jaewon's darkness lies.
Yes. Yes, they shared so much. Shared a lot. Swapped. And I think that's why Ji-hyun is so confident that like he can be a source of like a breakthrough for Jaewon. It's like, I know that I can do it because we experienced it. He was able to let go of all of that darkness and we could just be happy.
Yeah.
So I know it exists.
Yeah. He does text and he says, I know you're reading these messages.
I mean, now he's like building up, I feel like, the attack, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's gearing up for like, I'm done fucking around.
Also, like he's fully like, how do I explain to this man that I'm not this country mouse anymore?
Yes. Like he won't talk to me, but I want him to know that I'm not just going to let this go until you literally tell me to stop.
Well, so he's sitting out somewhere on campus. I don't know where they are, but he's under a tree. It's very sweet. And Eunji walks up and she's like, why are you out here? Jaewon was supposed to meet me over here. Why are you out here?
And he's like, oh, I didn't know. I just drawing.
I didn't know I wasn't allowed to be out here.
Yeah.
She was like, ugh, whatever. Anyway, do you know of any local motel by like where you work so that Jaewon and I can fuck tonight? This is
deranged.
Truly unhinged. This is insane energy. That is like, obviously we saw Ji-hyun and Jaewon do a bunch of stuff at episode 6, fine. But like, it's very funny that the K-drama model is very like chaste and like pure, and it's not hot and heavy. So it's so funny for this show to be like that, but also like directly reference multiple times, to be honest, because like Junpyo has talked about like
having girls over.
Like,
I think it really is like a college.
Yeah, it feels
thing.
like a real college show.
Yeah.
However, even in my wildest college days, I would not go up to someone who is basically a stranger and be like, what's a good place to fuck locally?
That's our new tagline for the show.
That is crazy energy. And he's like, I don't even know what he says in response. I don't remember what this says. But then they talk about how she was like, because we're back together. Oh yeah, she's like, we're back together. And he was like, define back together for me. And
because
she's like,
you guys weren't really, I don't know what you guys were or what you thought that you were. So I don't know what's getting back. So that's just interesting. I mean, truly, this is like solidified to Ji-hyun that like she is an adversary. Like she knows that I am a threat because I think her acting this way proves that Jaewon wants me.
Yes,
that's 100%. Why she's working so hard to put me down.
100%.
So if I was Ji-hyun, I would fully be like, great. Then I know that I have a stake in the game because I'm an actual threat to this girl.
Yes. She wouldn't give a fuck if there was like nothing. Also, her issue is not that Jaewon was gay or like had a gay experience, which like an ally. We have to say. I think she
would have a gay friend.
I think she's a hag without her. You know what I mean?
Without rhymes with bag.
Yes, or hag.
She's a hag without.
She's a hag without. She's a hag
without.
Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful.
Thank you. I don't think she would be this crazy.
Yeah. A cigarette.
Okay. They got it. They didn't need further education on what the word was. But unfortunately, she doesn't have one. So she is truly deranged. And he goes toe to toe with her.
Yes, because she's fully like, are you being sarcastic with me? Watch your mouth, little boy.
Again, you're like 3 years older than me. Let's all take a
Let's
breath.
all calm down. And he is fully like, you're the one who started the rumors, aren't you? You're the one saying things about our relationship.
Yes.
That there's something going on. Yes.
Bit like crazy.
He fully was like, you're the one that's starting all this shit.
Yes.
And now it's clear. And I don't know what you think is real or whatever, but because he's still playing plausible deniability. Like, he's still being like, I don't know what you're talking about or what you're trying to imply. This is just all really mean. So,
Well, it's also because the rumors are so insubstantial. Like, they're basically just like they're just questions as to why they were together.
Yeah.
But there's not rumors per se.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, what? How dare. This had to be so much fun to act out together.
You know, these two are giggling as soon as they
every take when it stopped, they were like,
we're bitches.
Yeah. Do you think she started the rumors? This is my question to you. Do you think she started the rumors?
No, I don't think so. I think probably Taeyang did. I think it's a byproduct of her probably talking shit about Jihyun. I think it's her being like, well, if he wasn't so fucking careless, or like, I don't know why he wanted to go out surfing and then dragging Jaewon over there. I don't know why. And I think that has made people being like, oh yeah, because like when they announced that the surfing club was closed, all the students were like, why were they together? That's so weird.
Yes.
So I think it's more of just a byproduct.
I think she did it. I know yesterday I said I didn't think she did it, and then I've convinced myself. I think she did it. Because if her whole goal is to get Jaewon to stay with her, nothing is going to freak him out more than like people talking about
that he's a
with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's got him right where she wants him. And she is, at this point, she's like, I just need to ride the wave until this whole thing blows over. And then he's fine. And then we're fine.
Girl, deranged, insane.
Your life is so long.
Your life is so long, and this, I promise you, you will find someone else that has.
This is why I'm such a proponent of just like break up with him, because like you have so much life, and why would you waste any amount of it with
if I was
something that is clearly not going well?
If I was Eunji and I was seeing how messy all of this is, because I don't even think it's like coming from a place of she's like in love with it. Like it's like,
no,
you're my first love and I need to have you.
No,
it's like just.
I thought that's where it started at the beginning of the show when they're on the beach.
And it's not anymore. It's really more of just like
she wants to secure the bag.
She wants to secure the bag.
They go out. Jihyun and Junpyo go out. Junpyo's loud ass is like, anyway, guess who's in love? Which is very funny. Jihyun's like, shut the fuck up. But then since they're already on the topic, which I thought this was very funny too, where Junpyo was like, have you ever been in love, said Jingnim? And she was like, I'm a divorcee. How fucking dare you? Of course I was in love at one point. Boo. Jihyun asks her, how do you win over someone you love? And her advice is like, even though it's really
very much similar to the advice that she had for him, honestly, when he was like, they were just talking about like he might have a crush on someone.
Yes. She was like, don't do the whole like chase after me. Mm-hmm. Don't play the game.
Go for it.
Just say it. Just be honest, be truthful, and it'll work out. Or it won't work out, but at least you just went for it.
Yeah.
So he receives that, and then he goes to Jaewon's class, and then
as soon as he steps out, he's like, "Young, we're talking right now in this level. If you don't want to talk to me, I'll just get louder. Crazy. Honestly,
Country Mouse found his voice.
yeah. Honestly, like a move I would do, I feel like.
Would you?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very brave. Not like you, scaredy cat. So Jaewon is like, okay, fine, let's talk. They go to the balcony of his little dormitory.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And he says it.
What does he say?
He says, remember what you did to me. Remember how good it felt.
Oh my God, that is not what he says.
I know that was real. I've tasted it.
Oh my God. He says, Jesus Christ. He's like, I know what we shared together, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it.
Girl, I wouldn't be too. I'd be smelling my clothes like forever.
Sometimes you don't have to share. Sometimes you can keep the thoughts
What do you
inside,
mean?
on the inside.
What do you mean? Well, I just don't understand. What do you mean by what they did? Because I don't think I...
Just like the way that they kissed twice in the waves.
Oh, right, because it was all a dream.
Right? We're going with the fact
Right,
that it was
we're-
all true.
that's-
Yeah. Not that they were just hot and heavy the whole weekend
Yeah.
in the motel.
So he does know motel. He should have said, I don't know any motels by my area, but I know some by the beach.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Would her head have exploded if she had said that?
She would have been like, "Ah!" That's what he should have
That's
said.
so funny. Oh, I wish that is what he said. Anyway,
Should have punched up those lines at the writer's room.
they didn't ask us.
They didn't ask us.
God.
Come on.
I haven't stopped thinking about it, and I know that I like you, more or less. I know that I like you. What are we?
Finally, someone in a BL asked the questions that we would have asked immediately. I mean, girl,
I would have asked this on the beach back when we were taking surfing lessons. I would have been like, what is this?
I would have asked
Excuse
when he
me?
wiped my mouth at lunch that first episode.
Hello?
I'd be like, what are we?
What are you doing?
What was that?
What was that?
What does J1 say, Adam?
Unfortunately, J1 maybe doesn't have the desired reaction.
I'm apologizing for my actions because that wasn't real. That's not how I felt. I was just,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And then Jihyun is like, well, look at me when you say that. And like, first he like pushes him or like pulls him to make sure that they are staring face to face, but he still isn't looking up. Like there was a hesitation before finally he looked at him, which I think if I was Jihyun, I'd be like, this is proof that like he is not being truly honest.
Yeah.
Because he needed to muster that like courage up before he could actually look him in the eye and say something. That I was like, that proves that you're not sure. You don't want to say these things.
Yeah.
But he does.
But he did. And then it ends on like Jihyun looking like he's about to like weep. This would break me. I'm so for real. If this happened with a man, if I went on a date with someone and then they informed me of how J1 feels, I would not handle it well. I would not receive that energy.
Yeah.
In a great way.
This would have like you as someone who doesn't like confrontation, like you would have been
I hate confrontation so much.
destroyed.
Oh, it would have broken me.
Yeah.
Shattered.
You would have gone
If I
through,
had built up the confidence and then this happens,
you would
this
have been
is-
like J1. You would literally be like, we'd never hear from you again. You
No.
would just be in your room.
I'd be living in the woods in a little cabin and no one would ever see me again.
It's not looking great, but you know what?
But you know what?
We
got a Station of the Cross. So I'm calling this the final complication. In the next last episode, the penultimate episode, which is basically where we're at, if we consider that these episodes came out as pairs.
9 and 10, yeah.
Yeah. It's the final, they're not going to make it.
The final dismissal.
The thing they have to overcome.
Because it manifests different ways. So there are some where it's like this, where they say, actually, no, that was all a lie. That was never real. There's that. There's always
There's an external complication.
sometimes it's man versus, whatever.
Or familial obligation or
Yes.
whatever.
Or they're they're
Or-
engaged.
Right.
Their fiance comes and they have to
Oh,
be-
yes.
Yeah.
There's, the time is up, and so the cat and dog have to go back to the heavy side layer.
Classic trope.
The Rainbow Bridge is a calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst one, I hate to break it to you, was Oh My Assistant, because it dragged on. Like it was a miscommunication, because he walked in and thought that like he was already dating someone. And then for like 3 episodes, it was just like miscommunication.
Talk about a show that started off so strong, and I was like, good, a fun little romp, a little comedy.
And it got way too serious that I was like, oh no. So yeah, it manifests different ways, but there is the final complication every time.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it is the accident. Something happens, they have to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone gets lost. Someone
There's perceived infidelity.
ooh.
That's like Game Boys.
Or they've been lying to me all this time because I just found out that the reason why you came to the town was to find me so you can get back your job.
Oh, yeah, that's like a big trope. I love it. I love the complication.
I know it's coming. I know I'm going to
Because
be
I
sad.
know when it comes this early, they're going to end up together. If the complication comes at the end,
like Oceans Like Me,
kissable lips,
literally at the end.
we know it's not going to end well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, disappearing out of nowhere too. A classic BL
Huge.
trope.
Like in what was the show in the house where they were about to break up? What was the show? Do you know what I'm talking about on Netflix?
Change Days.
Change Days. Where
she goes to
him.
Where he goes to her apartment and she's moved out. Can't be found.
Also, I feel like I've heard that more happening like Korean dating stories than anything else.
Yeah, is that
I think we
common
heard about
in
that
Korea?
somewhere else too.
Fully ghosts him and he can't find her for like
Yes.
months.
Yeah. And then they ended up
Getting back together and they stay together, they're still together.
true.
That's tough. I mean,
unhinged
they
energy.
must be really in love, because that is a huge hurdle
I cannot
together.
wait until Change Days comes back.
Oh.
That show was bonkers. And I cried so much in that last episode when he cried
people you didn't
when
even-
he cried in the car.
For people you knew they weren't gonna get.
Oh my
For
God.
people you knew that this was what they should have done.
Oh my God. Weeping for this couple that had no reason to be together. I was so sad. The whole show I was like, none of these people should be together. And then one couple officially broke up and I was like, love isn't real. Insane. Who's your MVP?
Jihyun, obviously, because he's just changed.
Mine is Eunji.
You
Because I think, honestly, if I'm meaning like maybe not the character but the actress, she's eating
great. She
this
is
role.
eating it up. She's so good.
She is so committed to being this horrible, and it's so I love an actor that knows how to be an intense villain.
Yeah.
But like, I'm sure she's lovely.
I'm sure she's lovely. I've seen the behind the scenes. They kiki everything's in the back,
Yeah.
So
She's really good in this role.
Yeah.
She's giving it 100%. There's this at the very beginning when they're in the cafeteria or in the food hall.
when Jaewon and Jian see each other in the
And she like looks and like rolls her eyes and flips her hair back around. I was
biggest eye roll. It's like,
the eye roll that basically my mom always insinuated that I did whenever I rolled my eyes at her. I want to show her this clip and be like, I've never done this. How dare you?
and there you go. That's 8th Sense. Almost there.